Hello and welcome back to the Legend of the Stars 2017 Championship. We are still in day one. We are whittling down our field of competition to, I believe it is just the top 8 players who are going to come back tomorrow for a single elimination tournament resulting in our ultimate champion. And they get the $500 redo prize thanks to Legend of the Stars. And there's also a lovely glass trophy as well. There are some progress picks on the forums. By the time you watch this though, maybe there will be some final picks, who knows. In any case, we are looking at Group A. We are looking at the second match of Zock versus Farmsletje. Zock managing to take that first one out. Let's have a quick look at the standings in this group. We've got Zock on the 2, and he's in a good position to pick up some more points there. Bravo not managing to get on the scoreboard yet. Achieve Jaguar playing as Big Priamism or some ridiculous name like that, not managing any score either. And then Farmsletje, who's managed to pick up 2 points, but will have to fight very, very hard if he wants to add to that total. Wow, all right. There we go. So, without any further ado, we're going to head through to Bermuda Locket. This is a great, fun 1 versus 1 map. Maybe we'll see some cheese. I don't know. Farmsletje has been pretty entertaining so far. Let's check it out. There we go. All right, so we have got Zock opting for UEF. So this time we do in fact have a UEF mirror matchup. And Zock being very kind, we can see that in the chat there he has picked UEF only for you, expressing the admiration that he has for the United Earth Federation, which is of course the best faction depending on your point of view. Right, Zock is going to throw down that first land factory, not going for any adjacency, clearly expecting to upgrade these mass extractors with all of the mass that's lying around, and look at all of that mass that is going to be picked up. So he's not going to waste the opportunity to get a mass storage around that extractor. We can see a whole lot of power going down from his ACU. The first NGs out of here are gonna be expanding. They're going to be picking up reclaim, and presumably some of them are going to help out that ACU as well to get that power up and running very, very fast. Down in the bottom right corner, we've got Farmsletje, also UEF. This is a lovely little icon on the name tag there. That is nice to see, but that is going to go for adjacency. Well, Farmsletje is going to go for adjacency, denying himself the opportunity to get that mass extractor to its full potential when they get a little bit further down the upgrade path. We can see he's actually just opted for 4 power generators, which is very, very light given the ridiculous amount of reclaim in his immediate vicinity. In fact, his ACU is sitting idle for a few seconds there as well. Farmsletje just off to have a cup of tea and forgetting to play the game. Zock, meanwhile, is getting the rest of his power grid up and running. What is the plan here? He's going to get that second air factory down. That's going to give him a transport, and hopefully by the time that transport is completed, he's got a whole stack of NGs out of this first factory that he can transport over to one of these other arms of the island to try and scoop that all up from south, grab the reclaim, grab the territory, and all the mass extractors that go with it. Do either of these guys have plans for naval factories yet? No, they do not, but that is an interesting waypoint for the air factory for Farmsletje. Why is he going to go over there? Is he not going first transport? No, he certainly is not. What is that? That's a very cheeky move from him. I wonder if that is going to pay off or if it's going to come back and bite him. Farms has actually beaten Zock to the air factory though. What is going on with that? Where is Mr. Efficiency? Actually, Mr. Efficiency is building power generators so that he has got enough eco to make it work. I might just check in on Farm's eco in just a second because that looks like it might be suffering a little bit. Although Zock now getting that transport out off the deck, and he will be able to load that up with NGs and even including 1 tank just for a little bit of extra capability, unless maybe he's thinking about dropping that behind enemy lines and causing some problems. That would be very interesting indeed. So we've got the interceptor and the bomber out. So Farmsletje very much sacrificing his ability to get a transport out to his arm of the island, but he's going to go all out in the bet that he can pick up Zock's transport, and that could be on the guards because the scout has picked it up. In comes the interceptor. That is going to get a lock on the transport, but it's too late to stop the drop. But what is this? We've got one bomb away, and has Zock responded in time? Oh no! Zock losing the entire contingent of engineers in a single bomb pass. That was a very good bomb. Well done, Farmsletje. You deserve a prize just for that. Alright, so that has completely denied the transport and the drop for Zock, and that could actually give Farmsletje the leg up when it comes to expanding, because he's got his NG-laden transport in the air and it's headed across to that, and Zock has got nothing to respond with. He does have a couple of inties, but they are tied up over his base at the moment, so Farmsletje managing to clear the way for himself to get that expansion happening first. That is very, very good play. Actually, I wish I grabbed a replay of that bomb because that was pretty epic. Alright, we've got this expanding engineer all the way out here from Farms as well, so he's going to be doing pretty well in the eco game. Let's have a look. They're both actually sitting on 21 because Zock's engies have been hard at work getting out across this island as well and pulling in all of that reclaim so they can upgrade mass extractors. I think we've already got a couple of Tech 2, no, actually just the one finishing its upgrade to Tech 2 up here. There we go. And that is complete. So it looks like that was just a little bit ahead of Farmsletje. He doesn't seem to have any Tech 2 upgrades. Maybe not quite as strong with the reclaim game. Let's just have a look at the reclaim. So far, we have got actually very little between these guys. So Farmsletje just not quite able to get the economy upgrade happening as quick as the master of efficiency, Zock. But efficiency also means efficient at losing engineers, because that was fantastic. Alright, we've got 2 naval factories down for Farmsletje. He has got those building frigates. There's a couple of NGs assisting as well. What does the counter look like for Zock? Well, actually, he's not even in the water properly yet. He's got 3/4 of a single Tech 1 naval factory built, but that is all. So that's going to give Farmsletje the first water units out. How far away are they? Not far at all. That first frigate is just a few seconds away. That could steam all the way up into Zock's Bay and start causing some havoc, trying to deny that build. Finally, though, Zock has managed to get some NGs down on this part of the island, and look at that. Look at the spacing on those NGs. They are super, super paranoid about getting bombed out. Imagine if that happened twice. Zock would not be able to live down the shame, so he is making sure those NGs survive. But he is strong with the transport game now that he is up and running. Another transport rolling on and full of engineering power. That's going to come a bit further down the island this way. In fact, why is it trying to land on a cliff? I'm not sure that that is the best move in the world. But anyway, he'll be able to secure that part of the island as long as those NGs survive. And he'll get some more factories underway, but that's still playing catch-up to Farmsletje. The only problem with Farm's game so far is that he hasn't been able to build all these mass extractors. There are still a ton of empty mass points, which he needs to hurry up and get built. He's only leading by a couple. Well, actually, no, he's behind in mass. Generated mass, that is. Even though he holds a lot more territory and he's held it for longer, there has just been no quick move out to grab these mass extractors. He does presumably have some upgrades back at home now. Are we seeing any upgrades? No, it doesn't really look like it. So still relying on just spamming those Tech 1 mass extractors and not getting some of them up to Tech 2. Zock looking very well established over on this left-hand side of the map. Now, he has got a whole string of factories planned that will generate a whole lot of spam once it's up and running, but that's not going to fix his problem in the water because this naval factory is under fire now. There is one frigate there for Zock trading blows with this frigate. He's trying to hide it behind the factory so the factory blocks the artillery, well, the rounds coming in from these frigates. So Farms is having to constantly reposition those frigates to try and keep a target solution on that factory. And look at Zock just running rings around his naval factory, trying to keep it alive. If he can manage to do that, that will save the game for him perhaps, but there are 3 frigates. What is Farms doing? He's disappearing. He's taking his 3 frigates, his naval superiority, and he's getting out of the area. I don't have an explanation for that, because he had an opportunity to kick Zock out of this water here. It would be very hard for Zock to come back from it. He would have to start alternative facilities over this side of the map. But for some reason, Farms has left Zock alone and let him save his navy. Alright, the spam game is starting up on the left-hand side now. We can see that string of units just pouring out of those facilities. And it looks like the only defense that Farmsletje can muster is some parked interceptors. And they're not really known for their DPS against land units, so they're going to just get on out of there and try and save their skins a little bit. What is the plan here for Farmsletje? He has got no spam at all. This is kind of what we saw in that last game, where Zock outspammed him on Eye of the Storm because there was nothing for Farmsletje to defend with. And we're seeing the same thing, just a single ACU, but that cannot keep it up against an entire stream of Tech 1 units constantly pouring in. That is not a winning proposition for Farmsletje. At best, he will be able to hold those Tech 1 units, keep them at bay, while he tries to make some progress in the water. We've got the same situation happening up in the top here, where Zock's ACU is playing defensively. There are a whole lot of Tech 1 units, though, to back him up. That's going to be a lot more efficient for Zock to defend than it will be for Farms in the opposing corner. But Farms is coming in here to try and attack the column of units, I suppose. It seems like his goal here is to try and stem the flow of spam coming down into his corner of the map, but it's not a particularly good use of all of the naval power that he has. He still is enjoying naval superiority. He would have the opportunity to get in here, kick Zock out of water, maybe, although there is a couple of torpedo launches as well. Due to the close proximity that we saw those frigates before, Zock was a little bit afraid of being kicked out. But it looks like he is saved by Farmsletje, who's just going to leave him alone. Alright, these frigates still just sitting there doing nothing. Zock has adjusted the waypoints on that spam, so they are no longer coming within range of those frigates. Those guys are going to have to find something else to do. Their purpose in life is now gone. They're going to have to come across here and actually fight as a naval unit, despite Farms not really wanting to engage in the Navy. That is what he is going to have to do. He's got his Tech 2 factory online though as well. Is that supported by the eco? No, he is actually lagging behind Zock's eco, yet he is still shifted up to Tech 2 and he's starting to spam that destroyer out. Zock's still sitting on an entirely Tech 1 naval production facility, not really expecting an early shift up to Tech 2 Navy. I can't say I blame him. His eco is still a bit superior to Farms. A shift to the mass heavy Tech 2 Navy is a little bit unusual and something that Farms probably doesn't have enough to invest into, given that he's under pressure over this side to produce spam. He wasn't able to make any gains on this side and has done nothing but leave more wreckage for Zock to pick up. He doesn't really have the eco to support it. Let's check in with him and see how he is going. He is actually managing to balance it just okay. With the reclaim coming in, the occasional overcharge, he's actually sitting pretty happy. Once that reclaim runs out though, that's going to be a problem. There's still a few bits of green there we can see that he can still pull in. That's keeping him alive at the moment. As soon as that runs out though, he will have to rely on that generated eco, which he is managing to keep up with Zock reasonably well. And now he does have that first Valiant class destroyer out of the dock, and it's going to start to rain down on units at a longer range. Zock will be seeing that momentarily, and he'll have to get this T2 Naval HQ up to match. It'll probably be this factory over here because of all the assistance available to it, but still it's currently building. Actually no, it's this one here because it's got the ACU, I suppose. So he's going to get that one up to Tech 2 and start matching Farmsletje unit for unit, but Farm's really not pushing that advantage that he had early on in the Navy, and things have evened up quite a bit. The only real difference at this point is that Valiant class that'll give him a bit of extra firepower at range, but it's not going to work if you send it backwards when you go to engage with your frigates. So Farmsletje pushing his frigates in without the destroyer. I'm not quite sure of the tactical soundness of this plan, but it seems to be what he's going with. He's going with some crazy plan of bringing destroyers back into his own base and defending his base with them, while he leaves his poor frigates out here to defend themselves against Zock's ravaging navy. Nice grouping there from Farmsletje, managing to get the frigates reasonably tightly packed so that they can attack just on a small front at once, lay down a lot more firepower. If you can get that firepower density up by using a group attack type move, I've forgotten the term for it because I just pressed the button and I don't know what it's called. Alright, so if you can get the naval units really packed and tight, then you will be able to just outdo your opponent on firepower. But what is Farms doing? Finally, there we go, he's brought his Valiant class up to the front line and he's actually using the guns on that thing. He's got both of them at the front. He needs to try and kite those frigates, get in there with those destroyers, do as much damage as he can. Meanwhile, he's doing damage with gunships over here, taking a little bit of fire from the naval forces, but still doing a lot of good work over here, taking down engineers and other units that Zock really doesn't want to get destroyed. But still, Farm's looking very weak on this side. Without that naval support, it is going to be a lot more difficult to withstand any kind of serious assaults down that left-hand arm of the island. These naval forces coming smack into each other right now. These destroyers trying to do as much as they can, but so many frigates on both sides. Who is going to come out on top? They're actually just standing there. This feels a lot like American Civil War style battle, where you just sit there, you don't move, you pound each other with guns until one of you is too dead to continue. But what is this, a bulwark? What a fantastic arrival on the scene from Farmsletje, absorbing all of that damage from the frigates for a good amount of time. There's even a destroyer in there for Zock as well at this point. But that shield boat absolutely saving the day and keeping all of these frigates alive, meaning that Zock is going to have to pull right back. There's even some torpedo bombers as well. What are they going for? I hope they're going for the destroyer. That could be the case. It's a little bit hard to see in all of the melee that's going on. This is insane. There's interceptors over the top. Is Farmsletje going to bring his ideas in? Yes, he is. We're going to have a full air engagement over a full naval engagement. Well, the only thing missing from this is a large amount of cheese. What are we going to get next? Alright, so Farms is pushing right up. If he's not able to do what he needs to do in terms of shutting down Zock's naval facilities, all he's going to do is drop reclaim. This Valiant class destroyer just about dead. There's a whole lot more reclaim. There's just the one. No, there's two left for Farmsletje, but they have taken a heap of damage. The air fight's still going on. It looks like Farmsletje is going to back on out of there. He doesn't want to participate in the air fight any longer, although I think he probably still has the numbers to pull off a win. And there's even a cruiser up for Zock, so that's going to turn the air in favor of Zock if it was to happen over the cruiser. But it is all over now. Farmsletje has come out on top of the air game, but the navy game, that is still hotly debated. And look at all the reclaim. There is just a stupid amount of mass that the winner's going to be able to pick up there, and it's feeling like it is swinging in Zock's favor, despite the early shift to T2. Those destroyers earlier on for a couple of minutes for Farms, he really didn't make them count, and it has cost him dearly. There is now way too much orange in that bay, and now Zock is going to claim all of that mass to himself. That is terrible. And while all that was going on, Zock broke through the left-hand side and has absolutely ravaged the eco from Farmsletje on this left-hand side of the island. These strikers, no, there's a striker or two in there, but the main body is pillars. And even the ACU is under fairly decent attack, losing a couple of thousand HP. He's managed to get a couple of vet from dealing with all of the spam coming down the left-hand side, but he has lost way too much eco. He's still, however, on 141 mass per tick. How is he sustaining that? What is going on? Has he got more mass extractor upgrades? He's got a whole lot of tech too, but it's probably still relying on a bit of reclaim to keep that going. He does have a good number of mass extractors, but I don't see any tech 3s. He probably has been far too busy pumping that mass into the Navy game to do anything more. Alright, and we even have some triads up on the rise. We can see that those guys able to just fire over the lip of that. That is a fantastically defended position. Those guys just poking their little heads up and taking pot shots at the passing Navy from Farmsletje. But there's just too much Navy and even some hover spam as well from Zock. I feel like Zock has held it off for long enough that he has got engineers out to get all this reclaim. Actually, there's no engineers further out yet. This is still up for contention, but unless Farmsletje manages to drop some engies in the vicinity and keep them alive, it's definitely going to go all into Zock's favor. Farmsletje managing to deal with all of the land spam that came across the island. He's just recovering back into a T1 eco on this left side. There's a bit of reclaim that he's going to be able to recover from that. What is this? Twin tactical missiles. What is that? What is he aiming at? So we can see that Zock has built this TAC missile installation. We've got two side by side. He's obviously planning to snipe something because that gives him two missiles at once. Twice the HP or twice the damage with no time to respond, and it looks like they were mainly firing after the power down here. That was Zock's target, but there is some TAC missile defense online. We can see just in the back here there's actually 3 of them, so Farmsletje obviously saw that that was coming. What Zock would be much better to do at this point though would be to take out that naval HQ. There is no TAC missile defense at all available for that. A little bit of an assault with some tactical missiles would very quickly end the T2 Navy game for Farmsletje, and that would crush the Navy game for Zock, or by Zock, and that would put an end to Farmsletje's hope in this tournament. But that is not what Zock is choosing to do. What is the plan here? He's just going after these other exposed Tech 2 mixers, taking pot shots at those. He really would be well advised to take this out. I think 4 missiles in very quick succession would probably be able to take that out. Someone with more experience might be able to advise me otherwise, but still, twin TAC missiles, well actually just a single tactical missile launcher now thanks to those gunships. Farmsletje trying to make up the difference in naval power with torpedo bombers. Unfortunately, there is a cruiser. Is it just the one cruiser? It looks like it in the mix, and those things are going to be absolutely brutal when it comes to dismantling any air power that Farmsletje is trying to use against his navy. So it's going to continue to just rain fire down. Farms just jockeying for position out in the middle here. We can see he's just trying to keep Zock at bay, but Zock almost at the point now where he's going to be able to break out and push through that navy. We have got a tactical missile from Zock slamming into that bulwark shield. That's a nice move there from Zock, although yeah, there we go, there are buzz kills in there, so he has gone and put the tactical missile defense down as well, just to counter anything that Zock might be trying. And we've got the same kind of tactic over this side. Farmsletje built a TAC launcher. He managed to build a stack of missiles in it. Unfortunately, a very, very well placed buzzkill there from Zock is going to completely deny that entire string of TAC missiles. That is very painful to watch. That's quite an investment for Farmsletje that is just going up in smoke. Alright, the eco is still not completely unbalanced. Well, actually, was that just during a power stall? No, that must have been reclaimed. So we're looking at 193 for Zock and 170 for Farmsletje. So despite all of the eco rating, Farmsletje managing to keep up reasonably well. He really needs to get some TAC defense over this side of the island so he can bring his missiles, well, put an end to Zock's missile. But Zock just taking targets of opportunity, even killing Tech 1 mixers. That is not good value for money. Those missiles are way more expensive than a Tech 1 mass extractor, but nonetheless it is just annoying, and it's going to soak up some more APM of Farmsletje having to get out there and build. So I think Farmsletje is probably going to get this factory up to Tech 2 so that he can get some Tech 2 NGs out of here to build some more buzzkills. The naval game still just bickering backwards and forth. It looks like Zock has got the upper hand now because he's taken all of that reclaim and turned it into Tech 3 Navy. So now we have the mighty UEF Tech 3 battle cruiser, and perhaps even soon to come a battleship. And that is going to be the end of it for Farmsletje. He is given up. He has seen that battle cruiser on the field, and he is just control K'd. And we have got a question from Zock there. He was not quite sure what happened, and the wheel of LegendOfTheStars has been spun. And for Farmsletje, the LegendOfTheStars, we can see there, is that Takedo was complaining the games were taking too long. So if you are losing a game, there you go. That is one solution. Control K and say that Takedo made you do it. Alright, and that will end Farmsletje's chances of picking up some points in this stage of the round robin. So he got his 2 points, but unfortunately not able to add to that. Zock, on the other hand, proceeding through with more. So we'll update the scoreboard and be right back.